Good God, what a mess. But this is the workshop in the raw. Yeah, it's pretty gross. But this is obviously where the desk used to be. And this really kind of does give you an idea of the amount of space that I'm working with, which is very, very low. Not a lot. This from here to here is about 48 inches. So it's 4 feet wide. That's the desk. The rest of this space is just filled with other stuff. What a mess. Okay, so what are we doing? Well, I've got a new standing desk coming. And it's going to go from about 37 inches and it'll go all the way up to like 50, which is perfect for standing at. I also wanted something like this because I wanted to be able to get my feet and legs under the table. The old workbench had a big like bar and you couldn't roll in under it, which wasn't great for, you know, getting up close to things and painting and doing. It was a real problem. So this is the solution. Standing desk. I'm replacing the 2 drawers that were in the old cabinet workbench with a rolling cabinet. And it's just like a, you know, a Husky Home Depot style. And it's going to kind of roll in and out from this side. That's the hope anyway. And then for this back wall, which is, you know, a nice white canvas, because I just finished painting. What this? We're gonna put up some sound deadening panels on the back here. There's gonna be a new shelf that's gonna go across there, all across all 48 inches. That'll be sort of like where I'm gonna mount the camera again, and a few other things. And the beauty of this now is that it's gonna be much tighter to the wall as well, because the old workbench, it stuck out about 4 or 5 inches, so I was losing all that, you know, relative space. Other things I've discovered while I was working in here, and it's not a good thing, of course, but the old plug was not grounded. So I got a little bit of a buzzy feeling from any electronics that I was touching. So I've run new cable to the junction, and now we've got a GFCI thing there as well, just in case there's any water intrusion. This will just cut the power, which is great. And yeah, that's sort of where we're at. Needless to say, the old cabling was an absolute disaster. They had that splice in the wall on this old braided wire, and the ground just was not there. There was no ground. It was not connected, despite there being some on this end. So it just kind of terminated somewhere in the wall, I guess. Not good. Not a good way to do it. So that's all been removed and replaced with modern equipment. Thank goodness for that. What's going on over here? After I plugged everything back in, I went right back to printing the fixtures for the Rockabilly. That's Josh's new build-along. I'm printing these out for Frank, RC Fabricator, so he can make me a cage. Because yes, that's right. I can't TIG in here. I can barely do anything in here, let's be honest. Yeah. So there you go. Fresh paint on the walls. We're going to be doing like a, like I said, a sound deadening backdrop thing. That'll be independent from the desk, so it'll just kind of always be back there, which I'm pretty excited about. I think it's going to look really good too. So yeah, and a look into the madness that is this workshop. I'm so embarrassed by what's happening in here. It really does need some help. You know, ultimately, I mean, I would love to be in a larger space. I would, but it's just not something that's really in the cards. And I don't want to build something in the backyard because I don't have a lot of space back there either. In fact, you know what? I'm going to take you out there so you can get an idea of how little space I have. Stand by. Before we go out there, here's the new cabinet, which looks quite large. I'm I'm kind of reconsidering the size of this as I look at it, because and then I have to figure out how to take all of these bins and condense them into like 4 bins. I think it's possible though, because there's a lot of stuff in here that honestly I don't need. It's like, well, I'll hang on to every single piece of SCX10 plastic just in case I ever decide to go back and build again on the SCX10 platform. Not likely to happen. So what I might do is I might just kind of, I'm going to, keep whatever I think is essential and then just put everything else into a big bin and kind of go, you can have all of this for like $50 or something. So if you're interested in my cast-offs, and there will be many, throw a comment down below. Okay, let's go outside. You want to go out? Okay. So this is the outdoor space. And as you can see, there's not a lot of room back here either. Like this whole area here, back here, this is where I sort of thought a workshop could go. But it's really only like, I don't know, 10 feet wide by about 30 feet across, maybe 15. That might be 15 feet wide by 35 across, but it's not big. So there isn't really a good spot for an outdoor workshop. And I looked at pricing, and it would be like on the high end 25K to do something back here, and that's not including laying a pad for foundation or wiring electricity. Like, it would be kind of a pain, and it would also kind of, in my opinion, diminish the value of the backyard, because this is, it's a nice green space with a reasonable amount of space to live. And I mean, we've got like a shed and the table and outdoor living area and barbecue and everything is up there. So it's like, I can't really see myself doing this. Plus, it also takes me out of the house. And I like being in the house, and I like being close to Rebecca and this guy, of course. So, I don't really know that this is it. And it's expensive. So yeah, that's sort of that's why I'm putting more effort into making my current space more usable. At some point, maybe it's moving up onto the top floor of the house. That might be a thing, but that's Rebecca's office, and I don't want to kind of steal that space from her. And frankly, I don't think she would let me. And I don't want to take that away from her, because she's doing a lot of her own stuff and she needs that space. And it's also got a ton of RC trucks in it. Well. Oh, jeez. I just tripped over the garbage bag and knocked a bunch of supports all over the place. Here's the new desk getting started. It's a Desky, mate, from Australia, but also from Canada. And yeah, you're like, wow, that's a super small desk with no storage. Well, don't worry about that. We're just getting started here. But yeah, it's going to fit, I'd say, perfectly in this space, mostly because I measured 38 times. And yeah, there'll be more progress on this momentarily. I will say this is not a sponsored post. Desky did not compensate me. I bought this with my own money. But I have to say, the integrated power strips that they include with this cable box is really slick. They all connect together via some proprietary sort of cable connection thing here. But this basically means I can have everything plugged in on the back of the desk, completely hidden, and even have a few charging ports for USB-A and USB-C. I love that. That is very cool. Now this here, this is called Hacking the Planet. If you are not familiar with that movie reference, you are too young. But what I've got here, this is just the regular IKEA shelf, solid wood, rather than any of their cardboard inner structure honeycomb nonsense. This is real wood for men. And a couple of their ends to shelves. And then I also bought this. This is actually, you're supposed to mount this the other way. This part on the wall, and then this lip allows you to put paintings and artwork into it, and they angle against the wall. Very nice. But I needed a shelf that I could mount my LED strips to give me lots of light on the actual bench. And this little lip was perfect because it just sits just on the outside edge of each of these things here. But now this shields my eyes from all of the light. So once this is flipped over and mounted up here, it'll make a lot more sense. But yeah, chuffed again. All right, there's the shelf installed, doing exactly what I wanted it to, shielding my eyes from the light, but still allowing a nice kind of downward projecting light. I've still got like a nice big fluorescent above the daylight fluorescent, but this is just gonna like focus really nicely. It's got a nice transition between light and dark. I think this is gonna work really, really well. Of course, this brick wall is not staying. There'll be some pretty cool textured panels going on there. The whole plug will be covered up. We're getting one of those flush mount plugs too, so none of these plugs are gonna stay out here. There's gonna be an extension that goes up above that will allow everything on this side to be plugged in. And then there'll be one going down, which will go into the workbench and the underside there. Speaking of underside, now we've got more storage down here, which is great, and still lots of room for my feet to be under the desk, which was the whole kind of goal of this new setup. And this desk is great. I'm really super happy so far. This whole section needs to be cleaned up. The Husky's going to be over here, which is great. Yeah, it's all starting to come together. Now it's about organizing and the last few steps. And now I've got so much more storage up above there, which is really great too. Pretty happy about that. It's all really kind of coming together. One other smart thing about this kind of hacked shelf that I did here is that this piece, now I can't remember the name of it. I'll put it up on screen so you can see what it is, but it's actually got a lip cut into it along the back or the front. I mean, it's supposed to be decorative, but I actually used it to be a wire holder or a wire hider anyway, so you can't really see the speaker cables. I feel very smart. Alrighty, we're almost there. A lot of progress has been made, not just in the desk situation, but also in the tidying and cleaning up of everything situation. So not much on the floor anymore, which is always good to see. Still got to vacuum and do that, but for the most part, we're pretty much good. This is good. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this is all coming together. There's a few more things I've got to do. I have a bit of a clog going on with the bamboo, so I'm gonna probably have to change out the extruder. I've tried clearing the clog a few times, it just hasn't really done anything good, so change out that, and then we'll be able to finish all of these guys. There's gonna be a whole bunch of these mounted to a sort of a IKEA pegboard, and they're gonna all go up on this trap door here, which is going to get insulated one further step so these don't get all cold in the winter. But you can see all the bins have a place now. All my other tools are down there. Nice little spot for the air compressor for the airbrush. And the desk goes up and down. I've already got my presets done, so there's standing room only right there, which is fantastic. I'm really, really happy about that. There is a full-size mat that's going to replace... Oh, there go my headphones. Going to be a full-size mat to replace the top of the desk so we don't damage any of the wood at all. I've mounted all my tools over here, all the hand tools I use on a regular basis. I already had these printed holders that I made up, and they actually they sit there quite nicely. It's a good spot for them, always within reach. The sound deadening background here really did its purpose. I think it looks fantastic. It's a nice sort of architectural style piece, and works really well with the desk in its position here. And the camera, the secondary camera, B-cam if you will, it's all mounted on this right here. And then I've also got a power lead coming out of the back of that cabinet there, and video cable as well, HDMI mini, so we can do up the live streams and always have that on the go and on the ready. Yeah, nothing really on the back wall has changed. That's all the same. There's the valve, which has already been turned for this season. I've still got maybe a little bit of tidying over on this side. There's a few vehicles that I should probably sell to make room for new stuff. So all of that stuff is basically out in the other area, that side. So we've got some tidying up to do there as well. So keep your eye out if you're interested in any of those things. That will be on the forum probably first, and then I'll move to socials to help move them if they don't sell off the forum. And that sign's wrong. It's been many more days than that. I don't remember how many, but it's been many. But yeah, we're making good progress here. I think I'm almost in a position to actually get out the optic and get the oven mitts on and do last week's required activities. Got a bunch of these H-Tech parts, which I think will be super fun to install with oven mitts on. So we're going to do that soon. But yeah, I think that's sort of where we're at. I'm pretty happy. Oh, I guess I didn't get to show you, but there's this thing called the Sleek socket, and it's a flush mount plug that goes into a standard, two-prong plug to give you a couple of options to just kind of be smooth. And I wouldn't have been able to mount these to that back wall without that Sleek thing, that panel behind there. So it actually runs up there, and then there's plugs right there with the surge protector, so the monitor and the computer, streaming computer, are plugged into that. And then there's another one that runs down under the desk, and I still have to clean up some of this cabling, but out of sight, out of mind. And then that one goes to power the desk, and then there's a bunch of other sockets for other assorted electrical items under there. So yeah, that's it. Revised new studio, all set and ready to go. That's going to do it though. Thank you so much for watching, and of course, if you're into being a channel member, you get to see all this stuff first. So you might want to consider signing up. There's a link down below. That's going to do it. Thanks so much for watching. See you again soon.